at Alaba in Kumasi.
And this is where they followed up to the gentleman who was lying on a mat in front of these three.
Ability to deliver on campaign promises.
We again see a 15 percentage point difference between the confidence in the MPP's ability to deliver on campaign promises versus that of the NDC.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Gassim Cement, the Nation Builder, and Belacqua Mineral Water. A 58-year-old spare parts dealer has been shot dead. Multiple times he was shot after armed robbers attacked a shop at Alaba High Street, a suburb of Kumasi. The killing of Fuseni adds to a series of attacks in the past few weeks in the Ashanti region. This was a daring daylight robbery in the midst of a crowd of people. Now, part of this was captured on video by some of the individuals who were simply standing and watching as this all unfolded, as panic broke out. Thankfully, I've just been joined on the telephone line by the Ashanti Regional Police Public Relations Officer with more on this, as police have moved swiftly to make some arrests. Godwin Ahianyo is on the telephone with me. Mr. Ahianyo, thank you for your time here on Top Story. So what briefing do you have? What happened?
Thank you very much for your question. My greetings to your cherished listeners and your good self. It's true, this afternoon, somewhere around 12:10 hours, we recorded a robbery incident around Alaba Market, as you indicated in your report. Unfortunately, we lost one person, Nuhu Fuseni, age 54, an onion seller. The armed men also shot other persons who sustained various degrees of injury. As we speak, they are also responding to treatment. Police moved in swiftly after they received a distress call and also managed to apprehend 3 of the suspects. One of them, Hamza Nuhu, sustained gunshot wounds. 22 years. He is also at the Konfanoki Teaching Hospital receiving treatment. We have Salifu Idrisu, 18. And Ali Razak, 18. All these suspects are in our custody assisting an investigation. We understand there were about 7 on 3 different motorbikes who stormed the Alaba market to perpetrate this heinous crime. We are now on manhunt for the other 4 persons. So if you ask, I'll say yes. It's unfortunate we recorded another robbery incident, which is daylight robbery in the Kumasi metropolis.
And tell me, so these people that you picked up, was there a pursuit, or you got to the scene when it was still live?
It was a pursuit. We pursued them from Alaba up to Santasi before they were able to apprehend the 3. The others managed to escape.
They were fleeing on a motorbike? On motorbikes?
There were very 3 on that one motorbike. They were apprehended. The others on the other 2 motorbikes managed to escape.
Was there a gunfight between the police and
Yes, that was why I said in the pursuit, one of them had gunshots on the right thigh. That is Hamza Nuhu, who is 22.
What about your men? Did any of them suffer any injuries or?
Well, the briefing I've had so far, no policeman got injured.
Okay, and so this was a busy market area, from what I understand, and does it appear that they targeted this onion seller in particular, or this was a random robbery, just taking from everybody they can?
From the investigation so far, I've not been briefed on that. I'm yet to speak to the investigator to know whether it was a target, or they went on a random robbery and happened to be a victim.
I mean, so there's a sense that this is playing into recent happenings with crime and other robberies. Just a few days back, we also saw another case of at a fuel station where somebody was again shot. What's happening?
Yes, it's true. Robberies do happen, and anytime it happens, we get the perpetrators arrested. But fortunately, the armed robbers keep changing their ways or their motives. We always separate the robbery. Sometimes we talk of highway robbery, we talk of residential. So when we get the residential robbery, the criminals, the suspect arrested, then quickly Others also come into the system and then change their motives. These are new robbery cases that we have recorded, especially the daylight robbery. Though we have had some years back, we were able to get the perpetrators arrested. And this recent times, we are getting these new cases recorded. I'm sure these 3 persons that have been arrested will also help us in our investigation so that we'll be able to get to the other person. I'm sure there are just a few people perpetrating this crime. If we're able to get at least these suspects that we are talking about, I'm sure this trend will also die down. That is what we are all hoping for. Yeah,
I mean, you call it use the word trend. Is there a breakdown in law and order? Yeah, I mean, are you losing control?
I don't think it is. We are on top of our job. I will assure the public that we are on top of our job. If you remember, a recent past, we were recording cases of car snatching. When we got the 3 persons behind these car snatching, especially the Toyota Hilux and the Prado SUV, these robberies are thing of them. For the past 2-3 months, we've not recorded any case of car snatching. So if I say these people have also adopted another strategy, then I'm telling you that yes, it has happened. We have recorded about 4 or so of these cases. I'm very sure that with the machinery we have, we'll be able to get these people to apprehend. And when we get them, I'm sure big crime that is rearing its ugly head in the metropolis will also be a thing of the past.
It appears the suggestion is that this latest robbery may be being conducted by a particular syndicate.
Yeah. That is what we suspect.
Okay, but we have no idea where they may be operating from. I think the Kumasi or they're coming from elsewhere.
From our desk, we don't have any idea who is behind it and what is the motive. But I'm sure with the 3 persons who are in our custody, it will go a long way in helping us in our investigation.
Thank you very much. That is Mr. Ahianyo there. He speaks for the Ashanti Regional Police Command, giving us the very latest on the situation in Ashanti Region. Let's bring in my colleague Erastus Saridonko with Lab FM on the ground there. Erastus, how are residents, particularly in Alaba, reacting to what happened this afternoon?
They are shocked to the bone, and they believe that the history of Alaba does not have many robberies in it. It's a no-go area for armed robbers, and it's been like that for a long time. And so they are shocked that young men could boldly, in broad daylight, storm the high street and shoot somebody dead and rob shops in that fashion. And they are requesting that the police should release the suspects they've arrested for them to lynch them.
Yeah, you made the point earlier about Alaba is a no-go area. Is that the reason why, that if they have a reputation for lynching people suspected to be armed robbers?
Well, I cannot go into history to recount that. But if you look at the structure of Alaba, that is where we have Tinker Island, one of the drug hubs, illicit drug hubs of Kumasi. If you look at the merchant trading hub of Alaba, where they sell almost everything, people coming in from Mali, Burkina, Nigeria, to shop there. It's a very busy area, and if you rob in there and they catch you, it's death totally for you. So for a very long time, it has really warded off people who have intentions of robbing that area.
I mean, broadly beyond Alaba, and as we just heard from the police spokesperson, this is not the first, it's like the 4th in a series recently of armed attacks. Generally in the metropolis, what's the sense you get?
Well, our checks on the ground in Ashanti region indicate this is the 10th person shot by armed robbers in Ashanti region. And I can give you account one by one areas because we covered them on the streets. And so if you're looking at people who have died, we're talking about more than 7 people who have died, being shot dead or killed by suspected armed robbers. The latest, before this one, is the one which happened at the Suade, the owner of the fuel station there, who was gunned down this week in front of his fuel station. We can recount other ones. Ampetia, the pregnant woman who was stabbed to death whilst trying to protect her own daughter. We can talk of Atunsu, the man who was gunned down over there. We can talk of Ahojo, the Chinese man who was shot, the man who was shot on the Kase end of Ahojo as well. So we can talk of Onyi as well, the mobile money vendor who was gunned down. So we are counting 10 since June this year, people who have been shot by armed robbers in Kumasi.
And you've been talking to the regional police commander, who says, in essence, accusing the media of blowing this out of proportion.
Well, specifically, he addressed me. I'm referring to the deputy regional police commander. He saw us covering the NDC besieging the Central Police Headquarters recently. And he was specifically addressing me for about 5 minutes that he claims that we are spreading fear and panic. And he told me he would deal with me if I stop reporting those things. And if I know that causing fear and panic is also a crime.
Erastus, I'm grateful that you joined us with this very latest on what is happening in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi. To the other story we are following for you tonight, and there is a spring in the step of the governing MPP tonight ahead of the elections, with results from the CDD survey just published, showing that the party has, quote, a significant advantage over the NDC when it comes to public confidence in the ability to deliver on campaign promises. Let's take a listen to the Director of Research at the CDD, Dr. Evans Mensah, giving a breakdown of the data.
Majority are saying that the MPP and NDC campaigns have focused on issues.
And of course, she goes on to detail what they found with respect to how people are responding to the issues of confidence.
We again see a 15 percentage point difference between the confidence in the MPP's ability to deliver on campaign promises versus that of the NDC.
Going to some of the specifics, my colleague Elton Broby joins me with a copy of this report, because there's a whole host of other issues in there. And Elton, let's begin with this. The details that we're learning about the confidence levels in both NDC and MPP going into the polls. What does the CDD find?
So this is captured on the highlights of the findings, and it says assessments of the performance of the MPP Akufo-Addo government are broadly positive. They get particularly high grades for their handling of COVID-19 crisis, electricity and education. The public is less impressed with the administration's handling of inflation, bridging inequality and curbing corruption. It goes on to say that the MPP enjoys a significant advantage, at 15 percentage points over the NDC when it comes to public confidence in the ability to deliver on campaign promises, Evans. Yeah,
I mean, and I've seen the full data set here that they presented, and so if you look at the key questions that they looked at, the 15 percentage point difference between confidence in the MPP's ability to deliver on the campaign promises versus the NDC. And by the way, this is data that they collected between September and October, so this is fairly recent. Somewhat confident, very confident. NDC scores 65%, to be very specific.
Right.
NDC scores 32%. Right. Now, if you look at the subject of refused or don't know, which is a pretty little minority of people there in the middle, not at all confident or not very confident. Now that gives you a whole different ball game. So the smaller parties, if you look at the smaller parties, 68% said they are not at all confident or not very confident, right? And then if you look at the independent candidates, it's 69% there. But the NPP has the overwhelming majority in terms of the confidence levels, in terms of what people believe the ability of the party is to deliver on key campaign promises. But it's also something that is interesting.
Very interesting. It's about people's appreciation of how the country is being governed.
Yeah, and the direction in which the country is going.
Exactly. And Ghanaians are split on direction of the country, with almost half, 47% say the country is going in the right direction. The same proportion says the country is heading in the wrong direction. We have 47 for, 47 against. And that leaves a small minority undecided about the direction the country is going.
I mean, that is very interesting. I mean, how is it even possible that same percentage of people say we are heading in the right direction, then same, so let's be specific, 47% say we are heading in the right direction,
the same 47%
we are in the wrong direction. And I think one of the things that the 6% say they refused or they don't know. I mean, so they refuse to answer the question, they don't know where we are. But it might tell you something also possibly about the how close these elections might be. Right. I mean, because of it's almost impossible to call, you know. And if you look at the CDD did a comparison to their 2016 survey. Now, in the 2016 pre-election survey, I mean, what we are talking about right now is a pre-election survey. In 2016, the CDD found that going in the right direction, that was July, it was 27%, okay? October was 26%. Then going in the wrong direction, that was in 2016, was 70%. That was in 2016.
Wrong, in 2016.
Yeah. I mean, when they did it in July, it was 70% going in the wrong direction. In October, when they did it, it dropped just by 2 percentage points to 68%. We know what happened in the 2016 election.
Right.
As in, the government lost the elections. So this tells you, it's sort of an indicator of what might happen. I mean, so that, just to give you context of what happened in 2016 on the same question of, is the country going in the right direction or the wrong direction? It was 70% wrong direction in 2016. This year, 47%.
Against 47 who says that the country is being headed towards the right direction. And let's also look at the Electoral Commission and issues about their credibility and neutrality going into the 2020 elections.
It appears people really trust the EC.
Absolutely. If you look at the outcome of this survey, the public expresses broad confidence in integrity and competence of the EC and its ability to deliver free and fair elections in 2020. They deem the EC's level of preparedness, together with other election-related state and non-state agencies, particularly the military and police, adequate. Most importantly, they express broad confidence in the EC and allied bodies to deliver credible elections in 2020. Level of trust in the EC and other non-party state and non-state bodies directly and indirectly involved in delivering peaceful elections with credible outcomes are generally high, particularly for the military, police, and media. However, there is considerable apprehension about violence by party and candidates supporters.
Okay, I mean, so that is an interesting point. Whereas people trust the Electoral Commission, they don't trust the political parties. I mean, they sort of believe that if anything is going to happen, the political parties will be the reason why. But there's something else that I noticed, that they're so, not trusting on the party that they're even asking for armed
policemen, armed security personnel
at the
polling center. But closely related to this, whether or not people will come out in their numbers to vote.
Yeah, I mean that has been one of the big unknowns, right? What did the CDD find?
It says that it looks like most eligible Ghanaians are registered to vote, and many are planning to do so. Nearly all respondents reported that they are registered to vote. 9 in 10 indicate an intention to vote, and the likelihood of COVID-19, the present voter turnout in December poll, downplayed. So regardless of the health situation we are in now, 9 out of 10 says that will go out and vote. Evans.
Okay, I mean, but that is interesting, right? I mean, it is so clearly 9-10 is huge, significant. The 9-10 of the respondents say they will vote. I mean, so that it dismisses the concern that people have that there's going to be voter apathy.
No,
and in fact, the CDD report even says not even COVID-19. People downplay the COVID-19 impact on voting on December 7th. I mean, people fear that this year might impact. It appears it's not going to affect at all.
It's not going to affect at all. And as much as when we look at what we are witnessing now from the two political parties, the MPP and NC in their outdoor activities, it doesn't look like most of them are paying attention to the protocols. It looks like it's back to business as usual.
Yeah.
So maybe that is fueling people's indication to go out and vote. Now out of 10, meaning almost 90% of those who've registered say that they'll go out and vote in December.
Yeah, I mean, that's significant. I mean, so that if this is true, we don't expect to have voter apathy this year. And if you look at the numbers of those who've registered in the EC's recent registration, 17 million people, where we expect a huge turnout then. Elton, thank you very much. Thankfully, we can speak to Dr. William Ahaji, former Director of Research with the NDC, joins us on the telephone line right now. Thank you, sir, for your time here on Top Story. I mean, the headliner there, that I guess, is what the CDD's pre-election survey established, that I want to quote what the CDD said here, that the MPP enjoys a significant advantage, 15 percentage points over the NDC when it comes to public confidence in the ability to deliver on campaign promises. Your reaction?
But thank you very much, Evans. But if you match that against the statement that you earlier on made, that 47% of respondents are saying that the country is heading in the wrong direction. When you do the triangulation, they don't work out correctly. So a government that is supposed to be 15 percentage points ahead of its opponents is virtually at par with opponents in the direction which the economy is going to go. There's something not right about that.
But okay, I mean, so that is a point to observe. However, if the confidence level are that high, that the trust levels in the MPP appears to be higher also, that certainly must be of concern to the NDC.
Oh, clearly, we are a very peaceful party. We are not disposed to violence. We've seen violence perpetrated by the NPP, and therefore, if there is any apprehension about violence, the apprehension perhaps is probably towards NPP that has created a militia and then armed people who are going around, toting guns and threatening people, threatening security forces. So the concern is about the fact that violence is likely to be initiated by the NPP. We saw a little bit of it in Odododio a couple of days ago when a peaceful march turned violent because somebody fired a gun into the crowd. So it makes us worried about the fact that, there's been too much arms in the system, and much of it is in the hands of, people who were called all sorts of names, but they were just your private militia groups that are running around.
Ahead of the elections, I mean, we just have now just a little bit a month to go. I mean, with what the CDD has found, will that change anything in terms of the way the NDC is approaching this?
We are very focused on our campaign and our strategies for winning the election. And indeed, there are other surveys that point in another direction. So,
okay, so such as which surveys are these?
I've seen one on the internet by Info Analytics, which is saying something that contradicts what the CDD say.
Yeah, I mean, but this is the CDD. CDD is a pretty, I mean, I mean, because you are a researcher yourself.
I've worked for CDD before.
Exactly. So you know the credibility of exactly the point I was coming to.
Yes, but but I'm still saying that there's still time for the political environment to change. It is absolutely possible, right? The political environment change within a couple of days or weeks to the election. And if this is even true, I am sure that there will be other studies that point in the other direction.
Now, but here is a dynamic, I guess, that makes this finding must be pretty worrying for the NDC. For the first time, the track records are more important than any other time in our elections, especially because the two gentlemen on the ballot for both parties have all done it in the last 8 years. Have been at the helm. So track record is key. So if you have 15% advantage over your opponent in that area of track record, the NDC is in trouble.
Well, I am saying that a sample of 2,400 spread across the country against a 17 million voter population can sometimes go wrong, even if you have a confidence level of 95.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Plus minus margin of error 2%.
Yes, I've seen polls in very advanced countries that have predicted things that have turned the other way around. So I'm not going to say that this is absolutely correct in every way. No, it can turn the other way as well.
You're not also questioning the credibility of the survey.
Pardon me?
You're not also questioning the credibility of the survey.
I wouldn't question the credibility, but I'm saying that surveys opinion polls can change.
What can the NDC do?
Just what we've been doing. We are doing our campaigns, very effective campaigns. We are doing retail campaigns. And you see voter behavior. Some of the objectives, among the objectives of the particular study, is voter behavior. And I'm saying that we can do a lot to change voter behavior and win swing votes, undecided voters, win regions that we haven't won before. It happens and it can happen. And we are very confident that with the strategy and approaches that we are adopting, we are going to spring a surprise.
Do you have time?
Do we have time?
Yes.
We have been at it all this time. So one survey cannot determine the fate of the party.
I'm grateful that you joined us with your thoughts. That's Dr. William Ahaji, former Director of Research for the NDC. At the event today at the CDD was the campaign chairperson for the MPP, Mark Menu. This was his reaction.
I'm enthused that in spite of the bastardization by sections of the society on the Electoral Commission, there has been an upsurge of trust in their operations. For us in 2016, the trust level was 65% in October 2016. Today, in October 2020, the trust has shot up to 67%. It's very refreshing. And I'm also happy that it has come out that violence and intimidation is to be expected. So it's something that we must take steps to abate it. Because a lot of the respondents said they want a peaceful elections. So Ghanaians are naturally peaceful and they want it in all their endeavors, particularly in elections, and that's one of the outcomes. And so we all as a people must come together and do things in a peaceful manner for the country to progress.
And that is the campaign manager of the New Patriotic Party, there, Peter Magmenu. There's a lot to chew on this. You can visit the myjoyland.com. The details of this are there. The CDD website as well has it. Also, you can pore over it and see how much sense you make of this fascinating research survey results that has been published by the CDD today. Of course, shortly we are going to transition into Ghana Connect. A very fascinating conversation on Ghana Connect tonight. This is a spin-off from the ballot box roadshow across the country. We are going to be dissecting what you have been telling our team as they toured into your constituencies, gauging the mood and asking the question, what issues will influence your vote? There's one particular issue that seemed to be topmost on your minds ahead of the election. It's about roads. We're going to have that conversation on Ghana Connect tonight. Stay with me.